I was at Walsh for about 15 years.
I spent 32 years plus at Walsh.
23 years.
22 years.
I was 25 years at Walsh.
I've been here to 43 years and happy as a lark with the men I live with and the students I teach.
Walsh University, founded, staffed, and supported since 1960 by the Brothers of Christian Instruction, offers a powerful foundational story, rising in its first 50 years from farm fields to international distinction.
Said Deus dat incrementum. That's the motto of the college.
It's taken from one of St. Paul's epistles to the Corinthians.
It's in Latin. It means God gives the increase.
God gives the increase. And I think he's been most bountiful in the way he has brought us from the small college that we thought we would be to the present-sized university.
Walsh University, a Catholic liberal arts university that carries on the charism of the Brothers of Christian Instruction.
The Brothers of Christian Instruction were founded in France in 1819 to educate children in primary schools. The brothers later emigrated to Canada and then to the Northeast United States.
When the brothers came to the United States, they came in support of immigrants. And that identification with the working class has not changed.
Their service to them was to help them grow, not just in faith, but also in education, that they could better their lives.
You know, it's a question of, do you give someone a fish or do you show someone how to fish?
The brothers served in a number of New England cities and towns before establishing Lamennais College in Alfred, Maine, as a scholasticate, a teacher training college for young brothers. By the mid-1950s, the brothers decided to move the school out of Maine to Canton, Ohio.
It was a big adventure for all of us because we were New England fellows and, we were going out to the Midwest.
However, the Walsh campus in 1960 was not as exciting as some might have hoped.
It was kind of bleak, quite frankly.
One building was the brothers' house, and the other building was the college.
There were alfalfa fields right besides the buildings.
It just open farmland.
There was nothing else.
The brothers, although not known for their work in higher education, proved to be a perfect fit for Walsh.
They were an order dedicated to elementary and secondary education. It was their philosophy of educating those who were the most humble, the most common of individuals that fit very well with this location here in Canton, Ohio.
November 17th, 1960, wonderful day, the opening of Walsh, and Brother Thomas Farrell addressed us that morning. And as I recall it, he compared the opening of Walsh College to the founding of great Notre Dame in Indiana. And I think some of us kind of snickered a little and said, this is a little pretentious. But times have changed, and maybe it isn't so pretentious as it seemed then.
We didn't have many resources. There was never enough equipment. There was never enough place. It was a basketball game at a high school. It was a swim party at the Jewish Center. It was graduation at Timken High School. There wasn't a student union. The basement of Farrell Hall, which is now the print room, was the dining room. Even though from a facilities point of view, we were seriously inadequate, there was a camaraderie. There was a sense of hospitality.
It's called the Brother Edmund Druin Library today. They named it after me because I was the one to start it.
At first it was all men, but then we began having evening courses for non-resident women students, and bit by bit we adapted for them.
When we first arrived in 1972, women had not been on campus very long, so they were a little bit strict, and we had a curfew in the dorm. They decided second semester that if your parents wrote a letter, you could have your curfew eliminated. And my dad's response was, that's why I sent you to a Catholic school, so that the brothers would be looking out for you.
From the beginning, it was the financial sacrifices of the brothers, unknown to the public, which kept Walsh afloat.
The founding brothers initially took no salary whatsoever from Walsh other than their daily living expenses that started out in 1960 as $1.19 a day.
The brothers gave more than financial support. They forged a community spirit which sustains the Walsh family to this day.
You could go talk to them about, just life in general and things you were going through, and they were always happy to share their thoughts with you and help you out.
They were the dean of students, they were the bursar, they ran the bookstore. The brothers were just omnipresent.
I was a soccer player, and they were always some of our best supporters. You could always count on the brothers, whether the weather was bad or good. They were out there.
I can recall hours spent in the admissions office until 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, knowing that things had to be done.
The brothers were there. Their door was always open.
In a sense, that's what brotherhood is as well. It's presence to people, especially when they're in most desperate need.
The brothers not only cared about our time in the classroom, they cared about what we did outside the classroom. It wouldn't be unusual for Brother Roland to help organize a roller skating outing where we would transport everyone over to a roller skating rink in Louisville. And then we would pull into McDonald's on the way home.
When I reminisce with alumni from those days, they have a tremendous respect and fondness for the relationships with the brothers, who were more than teachers, more than administrators, but truly the word brother had the meaning in every sense of it.
Over the years, Walsh struggled with enrollment, growth, and challenges. Through all of these storms, the brothers' commitment never wavered.
In '76, they actually lost almost half of their enrollment, and they had no endowment to back them. In order to meet the payrolls, the brothers literally loaned the college their pension fund. And had the school gone under, they would have lost everything.
Walsh developed under the brothers' careful vision as a school dedicated to educating and improving the lives of working-class families.
We always educate the whole person, body, mind, and spirit.
You learned. No matter how long it took, they never gave up on you.
That commitment to working-class families is sustained even today.
And one of the things that we explored was, what can we do for non-traditionals?
Well, I've had a year of school. I had to leave, though.
It's called the School for Professional Studies. Students who are at least 23, have 5 years of work experience, are admitted to the program. It's a very adult-friendly, it's a good program.
Walsh claims a long tradition of student service, dating back to its foundational years.
By the time they graduate from here, almost all of them have spent hundreds of hours in volunteer service.
It tries to make the students understand that they learn not just by reading a book or in a classroom, but that they learn in the laboratory that is life.
You realize that there is a bigger area other than just the campus that you're on.
As they go back to whatever communities they choose, our alumni tend to take leadership roles in service to others.
Walsh has also developed a strong international reach beyond its Midwestern presence.
Brothers of Christian Instruction, after all, are an international order. They're in more than 30 countries, and from the very beginning, they reached out to their confreres in third world countries.
Since 1976, Walsh has contributed to the education of 14 priests of the Diocese of Moshi in northern Tanzania.
I'm a brother of Christian Instruction, belonging to the province of East Africa, Uganda. I'm doing graduate studies in the Division of Education. I found the whole experience here at Walsh very welcoming, so much so that I've not felt homesick at all. It's wonderful.
Walsh really believes it's important to get students out to see other societies and out internationally and nationally. Not simply for service, but in terms of learning experiences. We really feel it's important for students to develop that international perspective. Walsh has a Rome experience designed to have students spend a semester in Rome. The Rome experience is not simply study accounting in Rome. It's built around trying to use Rome and its traditions as the laboratory for us to learn.
Now, past its first 50 years, Walsh looks back at astonishing and well-calculated growth.
What a change that's taken place on this little campus.
We enrolled close to 3,000 students. Some on the undergraduate, others on the graduate level. We have branches in different areas of Northeast Ohio. The growth has been tremendous.
They're always engaged in what we call a strategy.
It's a beautiful growth. It's not haphazard, it's well planned. Even though we're not the small institution that we were, the spirit, the mission is still being carried out.
Walsh looks to its future with a bittersweet recognition that someday the brothers will no longer be present. But their stamp on the institution and the community is indelible.
We at Walsh University are really committed and believe that Catholic higher education is facing a new era of development, that the laity can take over and continue Catholic institutions within our Catholic intellectual tradition.
We brothers hold 4 times a year what we call a charism dialogue. We invite about 12 people from different departments of the university to come and sit with us. In this dialogue, we try to make them feel that teaching or working at Walsh should be considered like a vocation. Together, we're working to fulfill Walsh's mission.
My vision is that 50 years from now, we're still a very deliberately Catholic institution that's a beacon of Catholic higher education. Today, Walsh is in its heyday. This is our largest enrollment, the most number of buildings, the most number of outreach campuses, the largest faculty, the most acres, and so on. But that's really not the dream come true, because those are quantifiable, but really doesn't begin to tell the story of a bunch of men who had a tremendous amount of faith that if somehow they planted the seeds, that God would bring about the harvest. And it actually has happened.
I'm very proud and very pleased because we did something where there was nothing.
Walsh really has our mark on it.
We never did imagine that Walsh University would turn out the way it is today.
They're getting to watch in their own final years the realization that the legacy that they sought to create is really becoming a reality.
It's more than just a legacy, it's more than just a school. Some way, somehow, they were able to incorporate everything. So many of us, like me, I can only do one thing at a time. They did it all.
Through the brothers, we will remember that God will always continue to give the increase to Walsh University.
The best we can offer is that, in fact, sed Deus date incrementum will be true for Walsh.
I wish at least 50 years and more.
I would hope and I pray that Walsh may continue in the tradition of the brothers.
May Walsh prosper and have another 100 years.
When I look back over all the thousands of students I've had, I thank God that I believe they've touched my life as I've touched theirs.
I think we have realized a dream of being clearly Catholic, deeply Christian, and warmly human. What more can you ask?